Hi, Elisa Peavey.
Hello, how are you doing, Jodie?
Well, I'm doing well. I want to talk to you about the last few weeks. You've been a busy traveler and doing all kinds of things when it comes to your health, your family's health, and the health of others. So tell us what's been happening.
Yeah, yes, it has been busy. We had a weekend transformational retreat, and it was amazing. Just really saw some key things shift for people. Some belief systems and things that were, detrimental and not really helpful. I really saw those shift for a lot of people, and some amazing healing really took place over that weekend. And so, yeah, it's been it's been great. It's been busy. I'm ready to just totally chill out and relax this weekend for sure.
Usually people go to retreats like that you're leading to relax. And then it's funny
Yes.
afterwards, you're like, I got to do a little self care.
100%. Yes, yes, yes. You have to do that because it's, you're still working, or I'm working when I go. And so it's not quite as relaxing, I would say, for me in terms of going and just really doing a lot of healing work and stuff. So,
When you talk to other healers, is that kind of the consensus? Is that after a retreat that's that intense, you all have to take a step back and take care of yourselves?
yes, yes, 100%. When I was working with Crystal Dawn, I mean, she would say, the day after, she would usually sleep a full day, if not, longer, just to really re-energize and get everything organized for her so that she could go on and do the next one.
Dude, it sounds like being an empath in a busy workplace. You got to go
Yeah,
home and be like, ah,
you
detox.
do.
So
You do, yeah.
tell us a little bit about this retreat. This was up in, was it in Utah?
This was in Oregon.
Oregon.
Yes. So it was all about really moving past any trauma or things that people feel that they're staying stuck on. And so it was really about reordering and realigning the energy of that and put them back into a really good space energetically, as well as just for stress management and for just the day to day things that we do in our lives, getting them prepared and in a good space to just deal with that and all the things that we have to do on a regular basis.
All right. So when's the next one? What are we signing up for?
Yeah, the next one is going to be May. I think the 15th is a Friday, so arrive Friday and then basically Saturday, Sunday. It is up in a beautiful area in Idaho, up near Garden Valley, and it's an incredible, big, huge house. We've got hot springs, we have hot tubs, we have all kinds of amazing healing therapies that will be there, and yeah, let's do some work.
That's awesome. Are you doing it in conjunction with anyone? And what is
Yes.
the name of it?
Yes, so I'm doing it in conjunction with my medical intuitive and friend Ashiana, as well as my really good friend Shar. She's a trauma counselor, and then another good friend Rachel. She really adds some sound healing and massage therapy, hands-on body work that she brings to the table as well. And so we put this together and we bring in, we have a medicine piece, we have what's called matrix, a realignment of sorts energetically, how we can reorder what's not working in our lives. It's pretty fabulous. And then we have things like rapid eye technology, really helping to again shift and move things through that are stuck in our field that are causing issues for us in our body. and then doing through this process of all of these different therapies, really the shift is pretty profound, and you get to see some big transformations, and really get to see some big issues that people have been stuck on. They're able to move through them, or at least get a really sound footing of continuing to move through them. So
It's wonderful. The name of it,
yeah.
Elisa, and how can we sign up?
You can go to my website. I think I have an email that's listed that you can send an email to me at. I get your information. We can do a discovery call. I
What's
think
the
those are
name
the
of it?
two main ways. What's the name of the retreat?
Yeah, what are you calling it?
Well, I don't know if we've put an actual name on this one. We actually just secured the location for it a couple of days ago, but it's all so the one in February was called a Trauma Realignment Weekend, and so it's very similar as far as just moving past, self empowerment, that sort of thing. So I do need to come up with the actual name. That would be a really good idea, wouldn't it?
Let's brainstorm at the end. If anybody out there has
Yes.
any ideas, ping us, send a message on
Yeah.
YouTube, make a
Yeah.
comment. So then in August, you're having a family camp. And this is probably the one that I'm most excited about learning about. Tell us just quick about that one.
Yeah, so this is for families. This is really about changing the we were born into these families that already we bring in generational stuff. We bring in behaviors and patterns that have already been established. And a lot of times, most of the time, those patterns that have been established are not necessarily in a healthy order in terms of how it was supposed to be. Having a mom and a dad that at all times were responsibly taking care of each other and taking care of themselves as well as taking care of the child, but without bringing in the child into all of their stuff, right? So most of us as children, on some level and degree, have taken on things that our parents gave to us and brought in that wasn't necessarily and shouldn't be within the natural order of things in terms of universe. And so family camp is really about empowering these families, self-empowering, bringing about and helping to energetically change to what's more of a natural order of things, breaking through trauma that may have occurred, and allowing a really safe and sacred healing space for kids to do process things that they've gone through. It'll be done through art therapy and play and things that do not bring trauma back, but allow them to actually move through and see some different ways of doing things. And really just reestablishing that perfect order of family dynamics. And this does not necessarily just have to be your blood ties and family. It could be adopted families. It could be who you bring in that is not blood related to you. It works for school, for bullying. Like it's amazing how empowering these kids become when they really see what's happening a little bit deeper beneath the surface, and they're able to let go and heal in a very safe, beautiful space.
I love that. So much hope there for kiddos and for families. Well, today we're going to talk about what else but cold and flu season.
Yeah.
I got a sneezer out here. I got a sneezer at school. I'm like, how much vitamin C can one possibly digest? And do these vitamin C tablets work? Are these things that I got everybody sucking on working? Like, am I pushing too much orange juice? What am I doing wrong? So I'm so excited to talk to you today because all of us are right at that cusp of either we know somebody that's got a cold or the flu and we're trying to avoid them, or allergy season is just upon us and people are starting to think about it's going to be a doozy. So, in that, tell us how you keep yourself, your patients, your family healthy and safe, and your advice as a doctor.
Yes. Well, my honestly, my go-to tool has everything to do with plants and everything to do with essential oils. I I love them. I do. I get excited when I talk about them. About, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, I finally sat down and took the time to learn about essential oils. My mom had been using them for years. I knew that they smelled good and all that other good stuff. But I really started learning about it. And to be honest, I've completely, other than the occasional ibuprofen or Tylenol, maybe once every 6 months, I have replaced pretty much almost everything in my medicine cabinet with essential oils. Like they come with me, they're in my purse, they go with me to work. I wear them every single day. They're amazing. I love them.
So can I ask, like you obviously went to med school and just 5 years ago, you were able to sit down and really digest this essential oil information from mom who didn't go to med school. So explain that to me.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, it is, you're learning about them as what they do in terms of the plants itself and what areas of the body it impacts the most. So, I was really learning what essential oils do and how they are able to be so impactful on our body when we're sometimes trying to not use medications for either side effects or other reasons why we're choosing not to use those medications. And so I just kind of did a deep dive, and they're really quite amazing in terms of what they do. I truly feel they're God given. Like God gave us these plants for these reasons, and we've been using them for eons, of time.
So let's talk about some examples about the medications that are currently in my medicine cabinet that we digest on a daily basis. Tylenol, ibuprofen, Pepto. I mean, the list could go on and on. Rolaids, the list could go on and on and on about what we have in our medicine cabinet. But tell us some of the common side effects, things people are learning now about these very well used medications that we go to. They're our go tos.
Yeah, I mean, even just Tylenol, it's a medication that's what we recommend to all of our pregnant moms, right? As the go-to medication for their pain, for their headaches, for whatever fevers, whatever is happening. But we now are knowing and seeing that Tylenol in and of itself, other than the fact that regular doses of recommended doses can cause liver issues, but it also increases risk of autism and ADHD in our children. And this is all in utero. So just this, what we consider one of the most benign, healthy medications that we can take for simple things is actually increasing risks of problems in our kids. So, medicines are they're life saving. I'm incredibly grateful for all kinds of medications for all kinds of different reasons. But we also want to think about the side effects and the interactions in our body because they are and can be, plentiful.
And one of the other medications that is of concern that we need to make sure maybe that we're not taking too much of are these NSAIDs, which is that ibuprofen.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell
Incense,
us?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, you take regular ibuprofen, kidney issues, it's increased risk for stomach ulcers and gastritis, the kidney problems that it can cause. It can actually start to shut down your kidneys, and then we start to see elevated blood pressure problems and other issues, just from taking, this anti-inflammatory that is usually one of our go-to recommended number one, medications that we're telling patients to take. And in reality, it's causing very quickly. You don't even have to use much over a few days before you start noticing some symptoms sometimes.
And so, when you did sit down and start learning about essential oils, did it change your practice?
Yes. Yes, it absolutely changed my practice. In fact, and my staff, I think, loves it. They all come to me in my office, and the moment they sit down, most of them take like a big deep breath, and they can smell the oils. I wear them both on myself. I also, have like a diffuser that it smells, and sometimes they'll just come and sit in my office because it's relaxing and calming and peaceful. So
Yeah.
definitely just from that. But then when they get sick, and when my patients get sick, I'm recommending oils. I have a sample packet I give out to all of my pregnant moms with peppermint oil and beadlets and ginger chews and drops and things that they can use for headaches and fevers and help with their nausea and their heartburn, in pregnancy, that is much safer than some of the other medications, the Pepcid and sometimes the Zofran and things like that as far as regular use.
Okay, so it matters if they're high quality. And you've said that your go-to brand is doTERRA, which
Yes,
just this morning, girl, I found my doTERRA in my medicine cabinet and I sent you a picture of it.
you
And it
did.
was and it was balance. The doTERRA balance combination,
Mhm.
compound, whatever you would call it, is something that was recommended to me just for grounding. I guess it's for grounding. And of course, I asked you. I said, "Do I put this on my wrist? Do I put it on my neck? Do I put it in a diffuser? Do I rub it on my head?" And you said all those things and more. So tell us, A, why you like doTERRA, and secondly, what we do with these high quality oils.
Yeah. Yes. So I love doTERRA just because for me, smell is very important. Essential oils are what we call aromatic. So they go when we smell. So, Jody, when you asked, what do I do? Well, you do both. So when you
Right.
picked up the balance and you took a big smell, what did you feel when you smelled that?
Well, I immediately, of course, it was pleasing to my being, like to myself. And I wanted to just breathe it in, and it just made me kind of want to just relax.
Yes.
Now, if I was to
Yes.
put on Chanel, okay, I love the smell of my Chanel perfume or whoever I got going, but it's different. And I would assume that it's like that plant based, holistic, high quality oil that's just different. For me, it is a relaxation. So I loved that feeling, and I decided, okay, I'm gonna wear that today. I'm gonna practice what Elisa preaches, and I think, if I had a diffuser, I could see how that would be a soothing smell. I know lavender has worked wonders with my daughter. She loves lavender in her room at night. She loves it on her pillow and that kind of thing. But we do make sure that it's high quality, because if you're not investing in the high quality oils and you're just picking things up off the shelf, you don't know how much of it is, right? Like olive, coconut oil. You don't know how watered down it is, right?
Yes, for sure, and you can smell a difference. I mean,
Yeah.
side by side, I take my DoTerra oils, and you walk into any grocery store or store that has essential oils, typically, and you smell them side by side. You can smell the difference. There's almost sometimes a more stringent smell to some of them versus just the deep lavender or whatnot. And so, for me personally, because the oils affect my emotional centers in my body, that limbic system in my brain, that's where the impact of the smell goes. And it actually, depending on the oil, it can be very uplifting. it can be very grounding. It's not going to be every oil that you smell that is going to be grounding like that, Jody. That particular blend that you have is combined of oils that are known for being very protective, calming, and grounding
Can
on
you
the
tell?
body.
Can you tell how chill I am today?
Yeah, yeah, you are. That's
I'm
so
not
funny.
so wound up today. I'm super chill. It's because I did my exercises, my breathing today. I had my grounding
Yeah.
oils. Um, it's good. It makes you feel good. And I
Yes,
know
that
there's
is
science. I mean,
that
I
is
know there's science
exactly
behind it.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes, it makes you feel good. So when you talk about putting together like diffusers, you put lavender and wild orange. Wild orange is uplifting, or lemon, or any of those citrus smells. You take a big deep whiff and you're like, oh, okay. I'm just, yes, that feels good. These plants have actual impacts on our emotions, which again, as we've talked about in prior episodes, our emotional health and how we feel on a regular moment to moment is actually what is going to dictate more of that feeling, more of those peaceful and calming feelings. We will actually start manifesting more of that, into our life. And so oils bring about that effect.
Well, I do want to talk about some kind of key oils, but first I want you to talk to me about frequencies because the last episode that we talked about, and the last couple we've talked about, how there's certain frequencies in our body, and oils actually come in at one of those frequencies. They help us adjust where we need to be for health. So, can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, so if you remember kind of from the last episode, Bruce Tanio, this particular frequency. Now we have over 220,000 different frequencies in our body that relate to everything, like a heart cell versus a liver cell. Those are two completely different frequencies, right? So this particular frequency that he was looking at, above 65, that was a healthy human. Anything below 60 really was where disease could start in. Viruses, we were more susceptible to that. We were actually able to start getting sick, I apologize, when our frequency is below that 60. Well, so these a lot of essential oils that he was measuring, their frequencies are incredibly high. That same particular frequency. So rose oil has a frequency of over 300. Frankincense is over 100. I believe peppermint, I think it's around 75, maybe 85. So when we want to put these oils on our body, they're actually helping to raise the frequency of our body systems energetically. It's helping to keep us out of harm's way, out of getting sick or catching viruses and colds,
Can I
and
ask a
they're very
question
powerful.
real quick of you about
Yeah.
the rose oil? Um, is this too layman to ask? Maybe. But with rose oil, it's kind of like when we're in a rose garden, right? And we're smelling this amazing, beautiful red, yellow, pink roses. There's something to be said about that when you take a sniff of a flower.
Yeah.
As fundamental and as elementary as this sounds, is it the same? Is that the same kind of rise in frequency that we would have from using rose oil?
Yes. Yes. If you smelled a high quality rose oil, I mean, like you get the same feeling. It goes all through your body. You're like, I mean, like it fills you up, right? That's what you do in the rose garden when you're smelling this amazing scent around you. Yes, 100%.
Amazing. That's amazing. And no side effects when you're using these oils.
Yeah, really, the only real, sometimes like a hypersensitivity reaction just on the skin, but just diluting it with a little bit of coconut oil, if you can kind of feel it a little bit, gets rid of it. I've really not seen any other major problem. Although I did have a patient who she was allergic to a lot of stuff, and certain oils, like it would be such a strong smell that it would trigger something for her.
Uh-huh.
So you do, want to, definitely be aware and smell it carefully and stuff like that. But yeah, no,
Yeah,
it
that makes
really
sense.
little to no side effects in comparison to our medications, as well, right?
Okay, well, I'm going to give you a quiz. I know I didn't warn you.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Doc, Doc, are you ready, Peavey? All right.
Yeah, quiz time. Let's go.
Okay. Pain, inflammation, infections, sleep. There's your key word. Relaxation and calming. Which oil?
Lavender.
Okay. Um, great in water, uplifting, concentration and focus, amazing detoxer.
Lemon.
Yes, girl, look. Lemon. Lemon.
I
Awesome.
love lemon. Yeah, and it comes from the immune system part of the plant. The oil itself does. So there is an aspect of really benefiting our immune system and helping in that regard too.
There's a reason why there's honey lemon throat lozenges, I bet. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Fevers, go to for HAs, reflux, give to all pregnant moms at the beginning of their pregnancy. Which one's that?
Well, that would be headaches. So HAs are, I'm sorry, that would be
Oh,
peppermint. HAs are headaches. Yeah, no, I love peppermint. It is amazing for fevers. It is fabulous for headaches. I
and it's
call it
a
the
strong one. So
it
you
is
want
a
to
strong
mix
one.
that. You want to mix that with a sister oil. So like you don't want to put that right on your skin, right? Be careful.
You can.
Okay.
No, you
Okay.
can. Yeah.
Okay.
So what I do is I take 2 or 3 drops of peppermint and I just put it across my forehead. And I take a drop, put one on each side temple, and then I put some underneath the hairline. And then sometimes we get like that little spot up on top of our head, that's tender with a headache. You can put a little drop right on there as well.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
but what you do, I call it the peppermint coma because I mean you're like peppermints all around you and it gets kind of cool. You just go lay your head down and 15, 20 minutes later, you feel so much better. And that's the same thing with fevers. It really helps take the fever down. It helps cool everything off. It's amazing. Yeah,
She's about to want to go get in her peppermint shower, aren't you?
yeah, I do. I love it. I love it. There are times when I'll go to bed at night and, if I've had a couple glasses of wine and I don't want to take ibuprofen or I don't want to, and I'll put the peppermint on. And when I wake
Yeah.
up in the morning, I feel so good.
Hangover cure. I love it. I
Yes.
love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so topical pain relief, and this is comes in a capsule that can help too. Anti-inflammatory. What would that one be?
So that is called copaiba. It
Okay.
actually is very similar to cannabis and CBD. It's a natural anti-inflammatory. It binds to similar receptors in our body, and it's fabulous. The oil itself is kind of thick. You rub it on sore muscles and just anything, topically. It really helps decrease the inflammation and the soreness.
Good for arthritis as well. It
Yes,
looks like.
yes. I had a patient who she had really, I mean, really bad arthritis in all extremities, and just really achy, and she, for side effect reasons, again, those NSAIDs, those anti-inflammatories, when someone has pain like that every day, arthritic pain, the recommendation really is to be using these on a daily basis, and they can really just destroy our gut and cause kidney problems and again, all sorts of other issues. And so she started taking the copaiba capsules, and she was on cloud nine. She was like, "Oh my gosh, I this is amazing. I feel so good." And she loved them. Said it was very, very helpful for her arthritis.
That's great. And that kind of takes us to cannabis because I do have a question. I don't know if any of us don't know a baby boomer who has said, I got this stuff on Amazon and I've rubbed it all over my body and I don't know if it's working or not, but there's a lot of stuff that you can get on Amazon. So tell us about cannabis. And THC and all the ways that the oil, lotions, that kind of thing can or cannot help us.
Yeah. So quality is important, and because there's no regulations on products, just like most supplements out there, you really have to be careful on where you're getting it and ensuring that it's a high quality product. So that is tough. You've got to know someone or a company or something that has proven themselves legit. But there are several that are all over the place, not just in Oregon, but there's other places that have really good high quality products. So I love it. It's a natural anti-inflammatory. It's a natural antiviral. It's a natural antifungal. I have my moms use it myself for lubrication. When a lot of my moms come in, they've got these recurrent bacterial vaginosis and recurrent candida infections. The problem with the medications is that they wipe out everything. They wipe out the bad, but also the good, and so it completely allows your body to have these potentially recurrent infections over and over again. It actually predisposes us to that, the medications that we have. And so cannabis can help with that. It helps with the pH and can help with the balance. It can help with, if there's any bacteria or fungal that's going on that is causing issues and problems. It is great for pain. Cramping, I have people put it in their belly button and help with their menstrual cramps every single month. And it's wonderful for just healing if you have like a burn, excuse me, a burn or a cut or something like that, it can help with that healing process. It can help repair some of the skin damage and other things. I could talk a lot about cannabis and the benefits and the history. Honestly, it for a reason. It was made to be a bad drug. It was put on that Schedule One drug. What I don't even what's the term, like the Schedule One drug, for as far as the DEA, and in reality it's so much safer than any of those drugs that they put on there. It has over 20,000 or thousands of uses, textile uses, in addition to medicine and everything else. I mean, it really was shut down because it's a good competitor, and it was getting in the way of other people's products coming on board. And so I'm glad that we're finally seeing it again, and that we're starting to see and fully realize, even from a scientific study journal, we're really starting to see those benefits. And I only know that we're gonna find a lot of other cool things that it does.
So to be safe about looking at a cannabis oil, since we're talking about essential oils, is the safest thing for someone who is unknowledgeable about what to do, is it to go to a dispensary and see if they have something? Because does doTERRA, do they produce any kind of cannabis oil? And if
No.
not, then who would you recommend that we would
Yeah.
use?
Yeah, there's a couple of really good companies that are in Oregon that I know of. And we'll put the attachments, the links to them, um, in in this information for you to get in touch with. And they're online as well. You can order their products online, and they have different varieties of products. Some that has some THC in it, which obviously, depending on where you live, you can't. You're not going to be having stuff shipped there, but then there's also a product that you can have shipped that is just really high quality CBDs, and less than the 0.3% of that THC. And so, and depending on what you're dealing with, there are people who know the product well enough, have been working with it for enough years that they actually can help to formulate different aspects of pull out more of the CBD ones versus maybe those CBD2s, maybe for your particular autoimmune that you're dealing with or whatever, you need that. And so there are people who can do that. And I'll put all that information in the links in below.
Awesome. In our show notes.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Okay, so just to kind of divert to our terrible cold and flu season,
Yeah.
what would you say is antiviral, antibacterial, amazing for cold sores? How many people do we know that suffer with cold sores and they are pumping their bodies full of, I forget the name of it. What is that one drug?
Yeah, yeah, acyclovir.
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 Acyclovir. Yeah, we
Yeah.
both said the same time.
Yes.
Yeah, acyclovir. Viral infections, ulcers, impetigo, keeping ourselves safe from illness. What do we use?
Yeah, definitely on guard. So this is one of my go-to oils. I use this every single day during the year, twice a day. Usually, I put it on in the morning before I go to work, and I put it on at lunchtime before I come back. I swear it keeps me from getting sick. I have Oh my gosh, I have so many stories about how amazing it is. But the formula itself, was designed back in the year of a couple thousand years ago when thieves and grave robbers were robbing graves. They would use this combination of oils to keep themselves from getting sick, interestingly. So, I had a patient, a little girl that she had, oh my gosh, this poor kid, she would just get cold sores, just they would come back over and over again. And her mom started using On Guard. And as soon as she starts to get a cold sore, she puts, one drop on that particular lesion, and by the next day, it's probably half gone. I just had someone from my office. She came in. She was like, "Oh my gosh, do you have something? I've got this right here. I don't know what's going on. I've never had something like this." And I was
And
like,
prom is
"Oh,
next week.
yeah, yes." And I said, "Here you go." I gave her what was left of the On Guard that I had, and the next day she was like, "Look!" she was so excited. She was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe it." She goes, "I could literally start to feel it working almost as soon as I put, the drop on there." So, yeah, On Guard is. It is bomb. I love it, love it, love it. I just put some on my neck every day, over my lymph nodes and on my neck, and that's basically some of my perfume that I wear.
You're like, that's hot. I smell good.
Yeah, well, I mean, it has like a cinnamon clove, wild orange. I mean, it is pretty uplifting, kind of, Christmassy, I guess, in some aspects, but
She smells
it's
like
all.
Christmas all day long. I
I
love that.
do. I do. My patients, sometimes they will say something and sometimes they don't. But I smell like oils. So it's
You're
pretty
like,
funny.
breathe them in, baby. You're gonna feel better.
Yep.
So on
Yep.
guard, on guard, deep blue, the grounding one that I was using this morning. Those are all like specifically DoTerra
They are.
brands, like
Yeah.
actual names. And so we'll link up the doTERRA website as well, so that because I need to go and order that. They have like a starter pack, right? That has like a little handle, and you take it with you wherever you go.
They
That's the pack I
do.
need. Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Yeah, they
sure.
do. They really
Well,
do.
a couple of the other ones that I wanted to ask you about were frankincense. The notes that I have here is about spiritual connectivity and energy protection. So that's interesting. I have some of that upstairs. What can I use that for?
Yeah, so it's really good for your thyroid as well. I love the smell of frankincense. When I take a big whiff of that, I mean, it's just I feel good. And I'm also protecting energetically thyroid and stuff like that. Um, it's amazing for healing. It's really, really good for the skin, for burns. It's awesome for pain. Actually, when I have like sore muscles or, you know, just got, I don't know, just got into an accident or something like that, and you're needing something that will help, frankincense, lavender, deep blue. I do use all three of them, and the combination of them just work miracles on my muscles.
What's in deep
Wonderful.
blue?
You're gonna. Yeah, of course, you would ask that. I think there's there's menthol. There's um, oh my gosh, I can see it. Wintergreen, and several other different oils. You can look on the they usually have a list of them in
Yeah.
the on the bottle itself. But so it's kind of like a icy hot, but
Oh, yeah.
different. I like the feel of it better, the deep blue versus the icy hot, but
You
it's a
know,
similar idea.
yeah. Now that you say that, I think that my friend Amy, if you're listening, you are an oil freak. I know you are. She always brings her little kit when we go on girls' trips. She will put that deep blue on our shoulders and our back, and she is like the best. I've always told her, honey, you need to get out of education. You should be a masseuse. But that's what she uses is the deep
Yeah,
blue. And I think
yeah,
it does have that icy hot feeling. So that's awesome. And then
yeah,
there's like tea tree oil and myrrh that we haven't talked about. Tell us a little bit about both of
yeah.
those.
Yeah, tea tree, oh my gosh, is amazing. It's a natural antifungal. It's one of my go-tos again for women who come in with recurrent bacterial vaginosis. Usually the medications we're having resistance and problems with the bacteria that is causing that. And so I'll have them use like 3 or 4 drops in a big bowl of water, and that's actually what they're using for their wash, genital wash. Because a lot of the soaps, they have scents and they have other things that we become, that changes the pH and completely increase that risk for having these infections. And so the tea tree can help prevent them from even coming on. It's wonderful as an antifungal. I've had people that have had folliculitis, like, little red bumps, and especially in the arms, and they're kind of raised a little bit and they kind of feel, rough. I don't know. I'm sure a lot of you kind of know what I'm talking about there. Just using tea tree oil on her arms, rubbing it on a couple times a day, got rid of it completely. So,
I mean, they write whole books, Elisa, about if you go to the health store, they write whole books about yeast. Like it's a
yes,
huge problem. And I'm not
yes,
talking about just with women. I mean, it is a problem in America. And I don't know if it's because of our food supply or our
yeah,
medications, but there's an entire section at the natural food store on yeast.
yep.
I'm so surprised by that. But you're saying that tea tree oil is one of those good defense oils that we can
Yeah,
use. So that's
yep.
great.
Yep, it's wonderful. Yeah.
Okay, so
And
what about
I'll use it sometimes if I will forget my deodorant, and I'll be like, oh my gosh, I forgot to put the deodorant on today. Oh, tea tree, woohoo. And I put it there and it just has kind of a cooling effect, but like, there's no smell, it's great. It doesn't last as long as, a deodorant, 12 to 24 hours, of course, but it completely does the job, and it's getting rid of any.
I mean, this is our next episode is we've got to talk about these deodorants, these all
Oh,
natural
geez.
deodorants. Seriously,
Yeah.
because it's very trendy right now to be like aluminum free, aluminum free. And some of us mamas who grew up in the 80s, like, we don't know. We're still using Aquanet for God's sakes, Elisa. Like, we need to do a whole episode about products because I think it's really important to understand what are we using and what is in our house. Maybe I just need to
Yeah.
set up an entire like row and we just go down the
Yep.
row. You know what I mean?
Yep.
What's healthy? What's not healthy? What's
Yeah.
contaminating our children and we don't even know it? So I would love to do that episode with you for sure.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, I use my On Guard. I mean, it can be a cleaner for the countertops. There lemongrass is amazing for helping your plants and those little bugs that they get, helping to not have them infesting the plants. You just spray them lightly with a little bit of lemongrass and water. Oh my gosh, there's so many incredible things that the oils can do that are the toxicity of a lot of our cleaners and other house agents it's just shocking what we inundate ourselves with and a
Well,
lot of
and
these oils.
I'm only gonna listen to you because I mean you're a doctor.
Oh,
But
thanks.
But that's what I mean. Like, how many of our friends, and I know many of your friends, not so many of mine, but a lot of friends have gone woo woo in this and they only use vinegar and water and they're definitely using, no chemical compounds to clean the counters or the bathtub or the toilets. And I'm not. And just to be honest, like, that's something that I need to be educated on. I think that obviously the marketplace doesn't do a great job about educating us. We want to try something, but it doesn't feel like it's as strong as a Lysol wipe. But really, what is in my Lysol wipe? Am I damaging things? Like, what am I doing? So I think that would be a great episode for sure.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. All
Let's
right.
do it.
The very last oil I want to talk about today before we depart is myrrh, which obviously we know this is a biblical word. Talk to me about it.
Yeah. Myrrh is another one as far as frankincense. It's just really good for thyroid support. It's spiritual, just that connection. That's really important to me. Just as far as feeling like I'm in the best space every day, within my job and everything else, just as far as management. And it just helps with that balance and grounding. I I love it. It's really good for skin. It's amazing for skin. It also can help just with some of the like blemishes and things like that. But yeah, and just it smells so good.
That's awesome. All
Yeah.
right. Well, we absolutely covered essential oils today. Elisa, thank you so much for all your wisdom and of course always schooling me on all things. I love
I
it.
didn't.
It's
I
the
didn't
one
school you
time I
on
like being
anything, girl. What are you
schooled.
talking about?
It's the one time I like being schooled, and it's the highlight of my day to get to talk to you. So thanks for being with us. And until next time, we'll be learning all in spite of us. We'll learn what we need to get through the day. Thank you, Elisa.
Yes. Yes, you're welcome. Thank you. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. We'll talk soon.
Thank you for listening to Healing in Spite of Me. I hope today's conversation inspired you to take a step closer to healing and rediscovering your true self. Change takes grace and self-compassion, and you're not alone on this journey. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who might need it, and subscribe so you never have to miss an episode. For resources, retreats, and more, visit inspiteofme.org or connect with Dr. Elisa Peavey on social media. Until next time, keep reclaiming your story and reigniting your purpose.